I'm Karen and I'm a lawyer. I'm currently at a civilian neighborhood in Israel. This is not a military objective. Targeting this place is a violation of international law.
Right, good. Okay, so now that we've established that deliberately targeting civilian infrastructure is in fact a war crime, I was hoping we could ask you, Karen the lawyer, to please direct your legal expertise over in this direction. See, estimates say that anywhere from 70 to 90% of all of the buildings in all of Gaza have been completely destroyed, right? Reduced to rubble. Now, unless we're trying to seriously make the claim that Hamas had secret military tunnels hidden under literally 90% of Gaza, but of course, we're not going to insult each other's intelligence with silly claims like that, then kind of the only option left is to acknowledge that this constitutes several tens of thousands of war crimes. And much like the situation with Iran, it doesn't matter what kind of accusations Iran directs towards Israel of things that Israel have done wrong. Attacking civilian infrastructure is still illegal. Now, because we're adults that know that two wrongs don't make a right. So like justifications through examples of Hamas being bad don't make this any less of several thousands of war crimes. And that's just the buildings, right? There's also human bodies buried underneath this rubble, and also thousands upon thousands upon thousands of highly credible, highly serious other allegations. I bring this up because it kind of seems like the government responsible for this, that you don't seem to want to criticize, is now beginning a very similar process in Lebanon, which is worrying. And I know that government are saying that they're telling people in Lebanon to evacuate because they care about the civilians, although in my opinion, if a leader of a foreign country told me to leave my home or something bad might happen to me, that would feel more like a threat than a warning. We should keep in mind that this is the same leadership that told the people in Gaza to vacate their homes temporarily so they could target Hamas and then they would be able to return to their homes. And then this happened, right? This is what happened to those homes. And I know that leadership are saying that they're only targeting medical personnel and ambulances and the like in Lebanon because they're secretly actually Hezbollah. But that too is quite reminiscent of this whole situation. I'm sure we all remember the little girl Hind, right, who was deliberately, brutally murdered whilst begging for help. Very much another that's what they said versus this is what actually happened kind of a situation. Now, it strikes me that there's a bit of a problem with the fact that what we're told we need to believe about the enemies of the West and their allies is, dictated by the leadership of the West and their allies. But what we're supposed to believe about the West and their allies is dictated by the leadership of the West and their allies. It's very much got, we investigated ourselves and found we did nothing wrong energy to it. I'm not saying that the enemies of the West are therefore inherently the good guys. I don't think there are good guys on the geopolitical stage. I think this is a game played by monsters for monstrous ends. But it strikes me that anyone asking me to believe in a version of reality where the good guys who never lie and never cheat and never steal and just have better morals and better ideals and never target civilians and never start wars for financial gain, and yet somehow always end up on top, right? Always end up with the biggest economies despite not having most of the resources, who end up enjoying the highest standard of living derived from enjoying the luxuries manufactured in the other parts of the world. Well, that seems to me like the ideology of a stupid child. You know what I mean? This feels like the geopolitical equivalent of a Disney adult.